All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all glory, all honor, and all praise be to our Heavenly Father, through His only begotten Son, our beloved Lord and Savior, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. And next of honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well. And as always, we give peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. All right, a little bit of news and prophecy today. Getting into a couple happenings here in Babylon the Great, and ultimately how you Americans, okay, and 2/3 of the nation of Israel, you have to understand that right now, this place is circling the drain, okay? America is circling the drain, and it's Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, all right, pushing them down the proverbial toilet, okay? And he's flushing these Edomites out of power, right? And right now, let's just go there. The spirit has been heavy on the book of Isaiah 19, and okay, understanding that we are in spiritual Sodom and Egypt right now, okay, which is also spiritual. We just had our Passover, and that was a big moment for us in ancient Egypt, okay, and through that, okay, we were transitioned out of Egypt, and the Lord is going to do the same thing here in this new spiritual Sodom and Egypt. Okay, starting off with the elect of the nation of Israel, we're going to be delivered out of this new spiritual Egypt in style through the chariots of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, which are the so-called UFOs and UAPs. All right, but I want to start here in Isaiah 19 and 14 because today we're going to show you a couple things that this guy, Donald Trump, which here at Great Millstone, starting off with Elder Apostle Tahar on down, okay, we call him Nero because he's coming in that same spirit. This is Nero coming back. Okay. And Nero 47 here, he is this cruel Lord in Isaiah 19. Okay, and Isaiah 19 is prophetically talking about New Egypt. Okay, it is not speaking about ancient Egypt. Isaiah 19 and 4, and the Egyptians, which are you so-called Americans, okay, and the Egyptians will I give over to the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord, Yahweh Tazabah Awath, the Lord of hosts. Now, when you get this word cruel in the Hebrew, it is quasha, okay? It says trueless, cruel, grievous, hard, heavy, impudent, obstinate, okay? Roughly, sore, stubborn, okay? And this is perfectly describing this guy right here, okay, who's absolutely crashing out. He's wetting the bed right now in terms of this war, okay? He's making all the wrong moves, but you have to understand this tyrannical behavior, this speech on these high levels that he's using against these nations is ultimately the Lord doing it at the end of the day. And it's called Halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, meaning all praises to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, because the Lord is putting the spirit on this devil to crash out and ultimately get this place destroyed, man. Okay? So I want to start off here in this first video, and we'll move on from here.
Let's get back to our top story now. And these are the continuing developments, the troubling developments out of Iran, which is, as we know, showing no sign of slowing down. Joining us live now, the former US Army Colonel, State Department official Anne Wright. She's there with us. Anne, thanks for your time this morning. So the war's ending. Now it's going back to the Stone Ages. Where do you think we are at this hour?
Well, I think it's a pretty stupid thing that Trump and this administration has done to blow up a country like Iran. They say thousands. I think it's 7,000 missile attacks on Iran. Supposedly, the danger from Iran was coming from its potential nuclear weapons. Of course, the Iranians have said they would never, ever have a nuclear weapon, and they haven't so far. Trump in his first administration threw out the JCPOA and
okay, and I'm gonna pause and give precepts when the spirit permits, but something that just boosted my spirit, or that called to me, is they said Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons, okay, which they don't, but that doesn't matter because we understand according to prophecy they're gonna have these other countries, okay, coming from the northern quarters to be a guard unto them. All right, and what is one of those main countries or one of those main nations that the Heavenly Father is gonna, raise up to be a guard unto, Iran, which are the ancient Persians, okay, which are your Carmenians in 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, right? So let's get Isaiah 13 and 17. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver. As for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces. And these bows is getting into those ICBM missiles, the nuclear missiles, man. And they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. Okay? Now these Medes prophetically are speaking about your Russians, okay? Because they inherit that land of the Medes, okay, in this modern day sense. And this is the nation, like it says in Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, which is also spiritual, because when you get this chapter, okay, one of the first nations, let's get a little bit of this. Ezekiel 38 and 2. Now, this prophecy right here is getting into the nations that ultimately are going to come against Babylon the Great, which is America in this Third World War. Okay, and we just showed you in Isaiah 9 and Isaiah 13 that the Lord is going to raise up the Medes, okay? And also prophetically in the scriptures, Gog, Magog, which is just from Gog. These are also the Russians, okay? It says, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against them. And say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, behold, I am against thee, Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, okay? Because what you see right now, okay, this lady, she said it was a pretty dumb decision for America, Babylon the Great, to bomb Iran and, to pursue them this heavily, which it is dumb because it's going to lead to this. Ezekiel 38 and 4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks on thy jaws. Yeah, the Lord is going to raise up the spirit of the Medes to ultimately enter into this Third World War, which is the final world war, okay, which is going to end with a war between realms. But right now, it hasn't really escalated to that point. But Russia is not in the chat yet, okay? The proverbial war chat. But Russia and Iran are allies right now, okay? And Iran is actually getting intel from Russia, okay? Russia is dropping intel into Iran as well as China, okay? Russia has long-standing alliance with Iran. So the prophecies is on point, you see? And when you go back to Ezekiel 38, it says that the Lord is going to turn back, okay, Gog and Magog. He's going to put hooks in their jaws like a fish, okay? He's going to reel them in to do his will. And I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horse and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Yes, so they're going to get ready to battle. And here's the point. What is the first nation that you see on this list? Persia, which are your Iranians today. Okay? Persia, Ethiopia, Libya. Okay? These Hamitic countries as well. All of them with shield and helmet. Okay? Gomer and all of his bands. The House of Togarmah, which this is speaking about Turkey. And Turkey is a NATO nation, but they're having beef with America, Babylon the Great right now because of the small hats. So the prophecies is on point, man. And this is showing you, okay, in end time prophecy, that eventually the Medes and Russia, which the Medes and the Persians, which are your Russians and your or Gog and Magog, which are also the Russians, and the Persians, which are the Iranians, are going to be on the same side. Okay, and Russia is going to be a guard unto them. So right now, okay, this cruel Lord, God Emperor Nero, he really doesn't understand how far his hand is in the cookie jar. Okay? And none of his wise counselors, none of his mighty men of war, Paula White, that spiritual advisor that he got who don't know the fucking prophecies, she don't know the scriptures, okay? You got the small hats talking about, Yahweh Shai don't got nothing on Genghis Khan. That's what Ned Dudu said. It's just a lot. There's no wisdom in the nation of Edom right now. And Yahweh Bahashim Al-Shai is exposing their ass. And this is ultimately going to lead to them being drawn out to, by the small hats, which they already are. They're going to enter this Third World War and they're going to lose. This place is going down, man. Point blank, period. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Al-Shai. Okay? And what we're going to get into a little bit in this video as well is this Western media is just fucking lying. Point blank period. Okay? America is losing billions and billions of dollars every day they fight this war. Okay? And they're not sustainable like that, man. They're not. America, you're not the hot shot anymore, man.
And then now, following the lead of Israel, where the U.S. now is the lapdog of Israel, the United States has mounted a horrific set of
Yeah, you heard what that lady said. Okay, they own nation even know it. The United States is a lapdog for the nation of Israel. This is the United States of Israel, by the way. All right?
attacks, 30 days of attacks on Iran. And sadly, I think the U.S. will pay for this in many, many ways.
Iran was certainly heading towards nuclear, though. Isn't the world safer and better off with that taken out of the picture?
Well, it always has had this nuclear program, and it was under inspection and observation through the JCPOA that Trump threw away. And nuclear inspectors had been back into it. There was no evidence that there was a movement toward nuclear weapons, but of course you always have to wonder that.
Yeah, but the thing is, Russia got them nukes though, and Russia, Babylon the Great, America, they don't want to. They can't fuck with Russia, man. Okay, them Russian Edomites are a different breed, man, and the Lord is gonna put a spirit on them, like it said in Isaiah 13, to not regard silver or gold. It's no amount of peace talks or money, money talks that's gonna make the Russians not attack Babylon the Great eventually. Okay, these niggas is ready to get down. And this dude right here making statements like this, which, we're going to get into, Lord willing. Hey, this place is through. All right? Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai.
And one would say, if you don't want to be attacked by the United States, you ought to have nuclear weapons, which is a sad state of affairs for that to be the world diplomacy, and for the peace president of the United States now to have severely damaged the civilian infrastructure of Iran, a country, Trump said we're bombing it back to the Stone Age. Well, in the Stone Age, there was a vibrant society in Iran where there was no society to speak of other than the Stone Age and many other parts of the world. So,
wait a minute. Okay. So you got God Emperor Nero, right? Talking about let's bomb them to the Stone Age. But what did the Lord say about that? Okay. How does Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai feel about that, man? Okay, let's get Isaiah, the 33rd chapter. And let's get this in the NLT. This is Isaiah 33:1. It says, what sorrow awaits you, Assyrians? Yeah, in America prophetically is also known as the Assyrians. Okay? Assyrians, spiritual Sodom in Egypt. Okay? Babylonians. Right? What sorrow awaits you, Assyrians, who have destroyed others? But you have never been destroyed yourselves. Yeah, you want to bomb somebody back to the Stone Age, but you just think that you finna go clean, untouched, just because you doing all this shit. You think that the Lord is not going to recompense you for that? You betray others, but you have never been betrayed. Okay? And right now, your allies is betraying you, like it says in the book of Obadiah, man. Okay? Those that have been in league with thee shall turn against thee. These NATO nations don't fuck with you, bro. They don't like you. And they're starting to see that you're the whore that rideth upon the beast. Now, these nations, they've waxed rich off the abundance of your delicacies. They've all made money off of you. Okay, they've all laid in bed with you. But now they starting to get that itch. They starting to understand like, oh, no, this hoe, she got something going on. We got to get away from her. And the whore is Babylon the Great, man. Okay? You betray others, but you have never been betrayed. When you are done destroying, when you are done bombing a nigga back to the Stone Age, you will be destroyed. When you are done betraying, you will be betrayed. Okay? And you got this right here. Okay? It says Germany makes serious worrying move and preparing for war. Okay? It says the Bundeswehr has taken Slovakia. Please bear with me. The Bundy, which is gonna call it that, has taken steps to secure the nation should a conflict arise. Okay, It says the German government has issued a worrying new legislation for the country and its male population in case of war. So these nations, they starting to see, like, all right, this shit is finna get hectic. Okay, and they're protecting themselves. The world has been increasingly facing tensions all over the globe in recent years, and that instability has caused the Germans to take a hard stance to protect itself. Now, wait a minute. Is Germany a NATO nation? Which it is. Yes, Germany is a member of NATO. Okay? So right now we see that Germany, okay, instead of coming to the aid of Babylon the Great and the Small Hats, okay, because of their alliance, right? Also with Spain, okay, with France, these nations, they're not really down with this war. They're not on call for God Emperor Nero just called them, hey, y'all ready to go to war? No, we didn't start this. We didn't do this. You see? So now these nations are prepping up and starting to prepare to protect themselves, man. They're looking after their own ass. And what is this going to lead to? Revelation 17 and 16, man. Okay, the 10 horns are going to hate the whore. Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. Okay? So these NATO nations, these European Union nations, they're starting to be like, I don't know about this one, Chief. Okay? And they're not sprinting to come to the aid of Babylon the Great when it comes to this war with US and Israel versus Iran, man. Because this shit is about to go sour.
So what they're doing in destruction of a sovereign country, of a country with huge historical impact and cultural impact on our world, is terrible.
It's also been conducting terrorist attacks and terror-related activities over recent years, either through itself or through its proxies. Did that not need to be checked?
Well, it can be checked, but you definitely don't need to just blow up a whole country over it. I mean, if you want to target certain elements of international efforts by other countries, then you target those efforts, but you just don't blow up a country. One could argue that the United States does terrorist things, for example, kidnapping the head of state of Venezuela and his wife, threatening the leadership of another country, Cuba. I mean, once you start on this horrific destruction of huge civilian infrastructure of any country, as we saw in Iraq, it doesn't lead anywhere good. And I would hope that my country at some stage will find that war is not the answer, that continued negotiations and things like the JCPOA are ways that you resolve issues rather than wholesale destruction of other countries.
The problem is these other countries, they're not interested in resolving issues, whether it is Iran or whether it is Venezuela that you're talking about, which is a hotbed of getting drunk.
And why are these other countries not interested in solving any issues? It's because Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai said there is no peace to the wicked, man. Okay, and we understand that the wicked that the Bible speaks of are you Edomites, man. You are the problem with the earth. And Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai is slowly but surely taking the seat from under you, man. Okay? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans have to understand that the Heavenly Father is about to put Yasharallah back on top, man. Jerusalem is about to be appraised in the earth. And the Heavenly Father is about to destroy this place, man. Point blank period. And Yahushua is coming back to slay these niggas, man. There's nothing good in the pipeline for the Edomites. Let's get Job 8. I want to read this in the NLT. This is, let me see. Yeah, let's do this. This is the book of Job, chapter 8, and verse 20 in the NLT. It says, but look, the Most High Yahweh will not reject a person of integrity. Yeah, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans understand what our forefathers went through in the past, man. Okay? Read the book of Maccabees. Our forefathers stood with integrity. Okay? Our forefathers kept their integrity in time of persecution, in time of unfavorable situations. And this is the same stead that the elect would, come in these last days. We have to walk the paths of our forefathers. Jeremiah 6:16, man. We have to walk the old paths, wherein is the good way. Job 8:20 in the NLT. But look, the Most High will not reject a person of integrity, nor will he lend a hand to the wicked. He will once again fill your mouth with laughter. Yeah, we're going to be laughing at these niggas, man. Okay, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, notably starting with the elect, we should be laughing at these niggas, man. This nigga is a fool. Your leader is a fool. This country is through. Edomites, hurt, broke. Okay? This should make us laugh. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is about to fight for us, man. And your lips with shouts of joy. We praising the names of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua in the name of our captivities, man. You don't see nobody else doing that. Job 8:22. Those who hate you will be clothed with shame. Yeah, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is about to close these niggas with shame, man. Okay? The Lord is about to close the curtains on this place, man. Boo these niggas off the stage. And we bring in the spiritual U-Haul, the spiritual Jerusalem U-Haul. Okay? We moving our shit in. Yahushua is moving his kingdom in, man. Okay? You niggas need to pack up. Your rulership is over with. You had your time. The Lord set the bounds in which you cannot pass. You can't pass this, bro. You're not passing World War III. You're done. Through. Job 8:22 in the NLT. Those who hate you will be clothed with shame, and the home of the wicked will be destroyed. And what is the home of the wicked right now? Babylon the Great. And Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua said in 1 hour, 1 day, the plague shall come upon this place, man. The plagues are sent and they won't come back. So these niggas are finished.
Drugs into the United States.
Well, no, Venezuela is not a hotbed of that. And if you look at...
All right, that's enough of this video. Now, what I want to get into next is this right here. Okay. You have God Emperor Nero right now, okay, threatening to bomb these power plants, okay, bomb these different parts of these different countries, okay, and all because of the Strait of Hormuz being closed to America. So this is what he wrote on Truth Social, and this was today, earlier this morning. It says, Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, okay, all wrapped up in one in Iran, and he's threatening to bomb it, okay? There will be nothing like it, exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. Open the effing strait, you crazy bastards. Do you hear like the language, the amount of disrespect that this man is talking about, the amount of pride that this devil has, man? Okay? This should make you hate these niggas even more. The scriptures tell you in Sirach 12, never trust thine enemy. This nigga is crazy. Look at this, man. Open the effing strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. This is the cruel Lord of Isaiah, the 19th chapter. How can it not be? This dude right here, he's tyrannical. Okay? He's erratic. Let's get that. Tyrannical definition. Tyrannical describes the unjust, cruel, or oppressive use of power, acting like a despot or absolute ruler. And this is Nero. He's acting like an absolute ruler over the whole earth. It tells you in the scriptures in Habakkuk, he enlarges his desire as hell. He's not going to stop. This nigga want to conquer the whole world. You see? Open the effing strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to, he said, Allah. This dude is crazy, man. Okay? And, a good question would be, where is his counselors? Well, why is he able to post this? What is he talking about? Okay? Somebody should be telling him, hey, bro, this is not a good idea to attack Iran, Russia. No. what's his spiritual advisor name? That lady, Paula White. Okay. His team around him should be telling him, hey, bro, no, this is not a good idea. You know, this is prophecy. This place is gonna get destroyed. Yo, this is Babylon. They're not telling him that, man. Okay. And when you get the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, all right, and verse 11, it says, surely the princes of Zoan are fools. The counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh is become brutish. How say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of ancient kings? All right, now this is ultimately referring to all of Trump's, advisory team and his overall administration. Okay, Paula White, his spiritual advisor, who don't know the scriptures, who's not warning him, okay, that this place is Babylon the Great. All right, and all these elites, they've lost complete wisdom, man, and they don't have control of the situation. Because it's Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai moving these things along, man. This is the spirit of the Lord, baby. And it's nothing that these devils can do to stop it. Okay? We have to understand that the power that we serve, man. Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai is doing this, man. Multitudes and multitudes in the valley of decision, man. In the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. The Lord is going to bring these niggas over there, man. Point blank period, regardless of what they want to do. Okay? And when you get this word for Zoan, all right, and the Hebrew is Taza'ain or Tazain. It says place of departure, an ancient city in Lower Egypt called Tanis by the Greeks. Okay, and I went to the chat. Okay, and I said in Isaiah 19 and 11, who were the princes of Zoan and what was their relationship to Pharaoh? And we understand that the modern day Pharaoh is what? Who? God Emperor Nero, Donald Trump. Okay. It says, who were the princes of Zoan? Zoan is another name for the ancient Egyptian city, Tanis, located in Nile Delta. Okay. And we understand that we're in spiritual Egypt, and that which is then is that which is now. The princes of Zoan were high-ranking officials, nobles, and rulers based in that city. Okay. You can liken these people to Donald Trump's, the modern day Pharaoh. Okay. His high-ranking officials, the astrologers. Okay, project looking ass, right? All this shit that they can see in the future. Okay, Zoan and Tanis was an important royal center, especially in certain Egyptian dynasties. So its princes were among the top leaders, the top leadership in Israel, and these were supposed to be your wise men. Okay, they're kind of like the Chaldeans in the ancient Babylon. These princes were direct advisors and counselors to Pharaoh. And this is your Pete Hegseth. Okay, this is your J.D. Vance. This is your Marco Rubio. Okay. They were part of the royal court and governing class, helping Pharaoh make political, military, and spiritual decisions. Exactly those people. Throw Paula White ass in there too. Essentially, they function like government officials, royal strategists, priestly advisors, since Egypt mixed religion and politics. And New spiritual Egypt, they do mix religion with politics, but they mix Satan in with their politics. Okay, their decrees that they've decreed on the people are completely built off wickedness, man, and it's not built off the scriptures. Okay, it's not built on the names of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. It's not built on any ethics. These niggas work after the same left-hand priesthood as the ancient Egyptians. Okay, this is why we're in spiritual Sodom and Egypt, man. What do you think the pyramid on the back of your dollar bill mean? The prophet Isaiah is delivering a message against Egypt. These princes were considered wise in Egyptian wisdom traditions, but Isaiah says their counsel became brutish. Okay, now you have God Emperor Nero. All right, let's get some of this. It says President Trump on Sunday morning raged against Iran over the Strait of Hormuz, threatening to strike the country's infrastructure and urging Tehran to open the effing strait, you crazy bastards. Okay? Trump on Saturday threatened to rain all hell down on Iran as the U.S. headed towards a self-imposed deadline on Monday, so he gave these niggas ultimatum. for the Middle Eastern country to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a key waterway for the oil industry that has been effectively closed since the conflict began in late February. Oil prices have continued to rise since the conflict began, and the oil prices are going to continue to rise and rise because, you know, these war conflicts are like delayed birth pains. So we're not going to feel the real effects of the war that happened, you know, the events in the war that happened today or yesterday until 2 or 3 weeks from now. So it's only going to get worse and worse here in America, man. Okay. Now, you would have to ask the question, where's his wise men? Where's all these smart ass technocrats, you know, all these high ranking Edomite elites that should be counseling him and saying like, hey, bro, like you should slow down. Like, okay, you talking kind of crazy. You know, these niggas won't smoke. For example, look at this. It says U.S. allies have expressed frustration over the U.S.-Israeli joint military operations in Iran, specifically over the lack of planning to keep the strait open, as well as the lack of coordination. He's winging it. He's crashing out with allies ahead of initial strikes. French president, okay, NATO, EU, Emmanuel Macron, for example, has criticized the conflict in Iran and has shot down Trump's push for European nations to enter offensive operations to reopen the strait. So he shut the request down. Okay, you know, like on Fortnite or on Call of Duty, when you ask somebody to queue up, them niggas, they denied the queue up. They did not want to, you know, they didn't want to exfil. You see? So right now, some type of advisor, somebody in that White House, you know, one of those elites should be telling him like, hey, bro, you know, these war taxes, this AI, this shit ain't working. We just need to preserve the country, make sure that the people are okay. But the princes were considered wise in Egyptian wisdom and traditions, but Isaiah said their counsel became brutish because the Lord don't want these niggas to win. Their wisdom failed. Their guidance misled Pharaoh. They cannot discern the will of the Lord, and the will of the Lord is to destroy this place. Why do you have them saying God bless America when God don't love America? God don't love Edomites. God is going to destroy this place, man. Okay? Egypt was known for its ancient wisdom, astrology, and priesthood systems. Same thing here in modern day Egypt. The princes of Zoan likely included men trained in Egypt religion, divination, statecraft. Okay? Divination. Okay, this is what the serpent practiced in the garden, man. Okay, he was a witch, he was a warlock. And your Edomites today are witches and warlocks, man. Okay? This is like this kingdom is like a big hodgepodge of all these ancient, you know, left-hand deities, and ultimately it's Satan. Okay, all these kingdoms were worshipped in Satan on the left-hand side, and America is nothing different, except America has taken all the different, you know, ancient wicked priesthoods and put them in one big ass pot and just stirred them together and remixed everything. If you guys ever played Black Ops 3 Zombies, there's a map on the game. It's called Revelations, and the map is like it's its own map, but in the map they have different POIs of like all the maps that came before it. It's kind of like a big remix map, and this is what America is. It's just a big remix. It's just you have the snake on the pole on the ambulance, okay, which goes back to a Greek god. You have Nike in the stores, which goes back to the Greek goddess Victory. You got the Egyptian pyramid on the back of your dollar bill, which goes back to ancient Egypt. Then you got on the Mepstein Island, you have Molech, and then it's a lot going on here, man. Okay, and this is how we know that we're in spiritual Egypt. But going back, I know I'm getting excited, Salakia. Isaiah 19:11, it says, surely the princes of Zoan are fools, and the counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh has become brutish. How say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of ancient kings? Where are they? Where are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, let them know what the Lord of hosts has proposed upon Egypt. Okay, and the Lord of hosts has proposed destruction to this place, man. World War III. So the Lord is removing the wisdom from these Edomites that they thought that they had, man. Okay, these niggas thought that they had the Mario star, that they was invincible, Mark Grayson, but they're not. Okay, and the Lord is stripping that shit, man. And the pride of this devil's heart is deceiving him because he believes that he can't be beat. Okay? But this place is falling before our eyes. And right now, shameful spewing is upon their glory, like it says in Habakkuk 2:16. Because you have these, you have podcasters, you have certain truthers, and you have ordinary people starting to understand, like, okay, why is America in this war? Okay, this dude Donald Trump, he's actually crazy. You know, people are starting to see that this place isn't squeaky clean like it's portrayed itself to be. This is not a holy nation built off biblical customs and, morality. No, man. Habakkuk 2:16, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Okay, so America, Babylon the Great, proverbially, has tried to paint itself as some pretty, Mona Lisa picture, right? With no, perfect lines and perfect angles and just the right paint, trying to portray this narrative in the media like they're always winning. Okay, like they can never be beat. This place is gonna go on forever. Don't you guys worry. We have the best military of all time. But the Lord is just, the Lord has got a whole bunch of white paint and just throwing it on the painting, man. Okay, and everybody's starting to see like, nah, this ain't the painting that we thought it was gonna be. Okay. And that's pretty much it. Let's get this. 1 Thessalonians 5:3. It says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, they shall not escape. So as soon as you hear these talks of peace talks, or things might slow down for a little bit, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans got to understand that the Lord is finna turn the heat up. It's only gonna get hotter in the stove, and things might slow down for a minute, but we understand that the Lord is gonna put the spirit on these devils to escalate more and more and more. Okay, and ultimately, this is not our fight. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we should be laughing. We should be rejoicing. Okay, because this has to happen for us to get to the kingdom, and the kingdom is the end-all, be-all. Okay, the kingdom is the goal, to inherit it on the first go-around, to be those first-round draft picks, man. So these dudes are circling the drain right now. Okay, and let's see. I think that's all I had. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So Lord willing, this is edifying to the hopefully elect of the nation of Israel. I want to end up by giving all glory, all honor, and all praise be to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Kakodash. Next up, honors to the elders and the apostle, great millstone, who rule, who teach well. And as always, we give peace and salutations to the hopefully elect. Kwame Sharala, Abide Babal, keep the faith, Shalom, Abide Babal.